What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. We're here once again to talk all the latest with Palace and also answer your questions at the end of the show, whatever it is. Maybe it's Palace related, maybe it's about life. We'll see. But I'm joined by Patrick as usual. Patrick, it's been a funny day. I'll say funny day to describe Palace today because we'll be talking about us being charged by the FA following the Everton game. Another L there.
Exactly.
I will also talk about Olise. Olise being linked with a move away from the club. But if you do enjoy it, to leave a like and subscribe. And also make sure to send your questions throughout the show, which we'll be reading out towards the end of it. Don't worry, we'll be saving them and reading them out. Patrick, how have you been today, man? You been relaxing?
Yeah. I mean, I made the mistake of watching the cricket World Cup. But I stayed up to 4 o'clock in the morning when England lose to Ireland, which is an embarrassment. So that's fine. I'm a little tired. I'm a massive cricket fan. Yeah, I played when I was a kid. So yeah, I'm a big cricket fan.
Yeah. You literally watch all the wrong sport apart from football, and you don't watch basketball as well. So literally,
no, I do. I told you I don't like the Knicks. I watch basketball. I don't really like the Knicks anymore.
College basketball, exactly. That don't really count.
I do watch that. I watch a lot too much college. Yeah.
Exactly. But look, let's get this started. And let's start off with Olise. Jude ask a question. We'll be answering that in just a second. So, according to Kelso Mercato, is that AC Milan has contacted Olise while he was still at Reading, but Italians were not convinced as the youngster. Well, they wasn't too sure based on this report that if he was ready for the big leagues. But now they are ready to sweep for Olise following his impressive displays in the Premier League. Patrick, there's so many questions to go on about Olise here. First of all, has it shown enough for them to say they're ready now to buy Olise? That's one. There's so many. Is Olise ready? But let's start off with your thoughts on this reports coming over from Italy.
So AC Milan currently are second in the Serie A, and they are second in the Champions League group, so they're going to qualify for the next round. They're a very good team. I can't see Olise going there and playing a lot. They got a kid, Rafael Leao, who's an excellent player. They've got a couple of English players. They've got Fikayo Tomori. Paoli's a good manager. I just don't see how it makes sense. But having said that, you made a great point yesterday. You talked about of all the players that we have, who would be the next person we could possibly sell, or who the person we could probably sell. Palace traditionally do not sell our player. We're not selling club anymore. We bought, Yannick very cheaply, developed him through the Championship, Premier League, sold him for a ton of money at Everton. Great deal. Wan-Bissaka came to our academy. We sold, made great money. Great deal for us. We really haven't sold anybody. We've never, Zaha, but that was in the Championship. Zaha was sold, blah, blah, blah. Got him back. I don't see why we would sell Olise. The only thing I can say is this. Would he push for a move? Possibly. Milan's a big club. Is the release clause an issue? Because apparently the release clause is pretty low. Is that an issue? I don't see Olise being the player to leave now. I really don't see it.
I disagree.
He's not even playing D regularly for us. He should be. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. You talked about us not being a selling club. Cool, that was in the past. But we're in a new era. And buying all these youngsters with low value, clearly it's the intention of the club to develop them into the potential, sell them on, and then reinvest that money into it. So if that's the strategy, then I disagree. I think Olise, why would it not be sold by Palace if he has a bit more worth than him? We bought it for £8 million. If he's worth more, then we'll talk about how much we think is valued. If he's worth more than £25 million, you're making more than double your money already.
Because he's only but he's only been here. He's been here a year. He hasn't. To me, for you to go on to a bigger club, which Milan is clearly a bigger club than Palace, establish yourself first. He hasn't done that. The person I would see makes more sense is a Eberechi Eze. Played that first year, the entire season. Unfortunately, got injured towards the end of it. This year now, last year came a little bit, and then this year established a regular first-team player. Olise is on the cusp. Should he be playing more? Yes. What's his best position? Is it outside wide? Is it midfield? We don't even know. We're Palace fans. We don't even know what his best position is. To me, it doesn't make sense for us. Next season, if you're talking about not this January window, next summer, a massive, we talk about evaluation in a minute, comes, yes, we can sell him. For me, right now, it would make no sense. Now, for the player, it makes sense, but not for Palace.
Look, for me, I think if there was a player to leave out of this new era of signings, I think
Right.
Elise makes the most sense. I feel like
Okay.
he'll be the first one to leave. So in that aspect, it makes sense why he's linked to AC Milan and why we haven't seen Eze or even Mark Gahey, Joachim Anderson, who joined when Vieira joined, for these players to be linked with big clubs. So that makes sense because I feel like personally Elise would be the first to leave. The second thing is, as much as I rate Michael Olise and as good as he is, I think you made a very good point. We haven't seen enough of him, and they're talking about this report talking about he's had some impressive displays in the Premier League. But surely, if you're AC Milan, a team that's in the Champions League, more than like how many appearances has Olise had for us? Has he had
Exactly.
the one
Exactly.
full season where he has played majority of the games? No, last season that
No.
wasn't the case. This
Right.
season just started. So
Right.
for me, I'm not too sure if he's ready for a move to AC Milan right now. If he lives up to his potential, which I don't think we've seen yet, as good as he is right now, I think people would be very surprised if he plays a full season and if he develops, because right now is only the lowest barrier. He's going to improve so
Right.
much as a player. It's going to be scary. That's what I'm looking forward to. So, look, it doesn't make any sense for Milan to be linked with him at this stage, me personally. But then again, if there was a player to leave, I think it would be him. So, Patrick, let me ask you a question. Do you think he's ready
Sure.
to move to a big club like AC Milan, considering what I've just said, that he hasn't had a full season at Palace playing games yet?
I don't see the body of work to make me think he's not an established international. He's only 20 years old. Even for France, he played for the under 21s. You just said he hasn't played for us consistently this season or last. He seems like a very shy kid. I don't know his personality. I've never met him, but just watching how he interacts on some of the past videos, seems like a pretty, local, wants to stay. I mean, he's got a French background, Nigerian background, international background. So maybe going to Italy, learning Italian wouldn't be a big deal to him. I don't see it, D. Like you just said, I think a player like Eza, I think someone like we mentioned already, like Zaha makes a lot more sense, right? Zaha's much more established. It makes sense that, 29, 30 years old, a veteran type, Champions League team, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't make sense to me. But I will say this, though. Having said all of what I just said, we talked about this yesterday with Raksaki. There you go now. You're over a spot right now on that right side for Raksaki Eboe to play. So from that standpoint, it's an area we could actually, dare I say, afford to lose a player because of the fact we have players that could come through.
Yeah. So talking about his value, how much do you think it's worth right now to Palace? Olise. I think
question.
he's in a region of
40, 50?
It's hard, but has he done enough to be worth 40, 50? Is that
exactly.
pretty much investing in his future? I think he's done enough to be worth at least, not enough. He's shown enough to be worth at least 25, 30 million.
Right.
I guess a 40, 50 is that potential aspect because he's still very young. So maybe, maybe it could be 40, 50. And Sonny, I think, says as well, if we had 40, 50 million for him, then I'll take it. And I don't think he'll be the only person. I think other people said as well. And as you mentioned, Patrick, there are other players there that could grow. Raksaki, Ibue. Down the right-hand side, we're healthy. It's good.
Yeah.
Down the left-hand side now, that's where we have maybe problems if Wilf was to leave and we have to replace him. And so asked the question, who would we replace Olise with? I don't know if we have to go out and buy a player. I don't think so, because I feel like we've got players at the club that could potentially step up to the plate. Maybe not be as good as Olise, but still be very good Premier League footballer, because Olise looks like I wouldn't say generational talent, but he looks like a player that has huge potential in him. And Ibue, he might not have the same potential as Olise. Well, that's to be seen yet. But I feel like he could still be a very good Premier League footballer, just like Raksaki.
Yeah, I think the club 100% will put Ibue right into that spot for Olise. 100%. It's going to be Ibue. Probably again doing the same thing as Olise, backing up Jordan if it was to happen in January. I think there's no doubt in my mind there would definitely look at Ibue to be the one to replace Olise if he left.
Yeah. A few more comments about Eze and Olise, because you mentioned him, Patrick. Eze ain't ever leaving. I cannot see it. He's Palace through and through. We have to build a squad around him. Palace fan says if Eze and Olise leaves, we're a championship level squad as a whole. Do you agree with that comment? I think I wouldn't say championship level squad, because if they were to leave, then I could see reinvestment, because they're not going to leave for cheap. We'll get good amount of money. So it's I don't think it's as easy as that. I don't think, of course, if we don't bring in anyone, which would be the most stupidest thing to do.
Yeah. Suicide. Right.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think it'll be as bad if they were to leave. But honestly, I think Olise would leave. I'll be very surprised if Eze leaves before Olise. Because for me, Olise is the next player out of this group of players that we got that I can see leaving, if you don't count Wilf, maybe.
So D, my only caveat is going to be the following: if by some miracle, and it's a miracle for me, Eza makes the World Cup team, tapped up, you can be talking to players from bigger clubs, and then from that standpoint, it might happen. If it doesn't make the no way Eza's leaving anytime soon because he hasn't shown enough. But if he gets in the, you know how to work with Tyreek. When Will first got the World Cup, England squad, way back in when he was 20 years old, that's what happened to him getting tapped up by United players, etc. But unless Eza gets in the World Cup England team, he's not going anywhere right now.
Yeah, Patrick is saying, he said, forget about AC Milan. He should be moving to Real Madrid. For me, I can't lie. I'm not buying. I not right now. I mean, he hasn't shown nowhere enough to be for us to say he's a Real Madrid type of player.
European champions.
If Wilf didn't move to Real Madrid, then Olise, forget about it. Not especially right now. Maybe in the future, he might go AC Milan and do bits there, and then he moves on to the next level, Real Madrid. But right now, there's no way Real Madrid get Olise. It just makes no sense because there's way better youngsters out there ahead of Olise right now at his age group in the first place. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense for me. But yeah, if you do enjoy the show, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Only takes a second of your time and helps us grow the channel as well. Chloe says apparently Newcastle wants Zaha in January. You know what? We'll talk about that later on down the show. Send in your questions. But yeah, let's wrap it up with the Olise news with a bit more comments. Sean says if we lose Zaha for 30 million, Eze for 60 million, and Olise live for 30, 50 million. I was being satisfied. First of all, Zaha has not leaving for 30 million. Well, as it stands, I don't see that happening because he will leave for free. Why would someone pay 30 million for someone who's going to be free in the summer? Eze 60 million, Olise 30, 50. That's a bit more realistic. But even Eze 60 million right now, I'm not too sure. Maybe in the future. But look, Patrick, that's Olise news. We both agreed to say 30 to 50 million, but I think, well, me anyways, I don't think he's done enough for AC Milan to say, all right, cool, he's done it in a big level. He hasn't.
Right.
He hasn't done it.
Yeah, not yet.
Eagle Eye Football says, I reckon we get Diaz from Blackburn to replace Zaha. First of all, I think
last week.
We spoke about him in Palace News was it last week or this week?
It was last week, believe it or not.
It was last week. I don't think he's a Zaha replacement. It's going to be hard to replace Zaha, but you have to do better than that, for me anyways. But yeah, I don't want to replace Zaha. Just let him stay here and keep it as it is. That's how I stand with the whole situation. But Sonny says the point in love and football is the connections you gain with players. We aren't pushed around selling club anymore. We sign these players on 5-year deals. They ain't going anywhere. And last thing I'm going to say, he's under contract till 2026. We don't have to sell him.
Exactly.
And I don't think AC Milan will pay the money that we would want right now. And I wouldn't blame them, but we should have a higher value for him. Like, there's no need to sell him. So if he was under contract for the next, maybe he's got a year or two left, fair enough. But right now, 2026, like, it makes no sense. But I agree with this. There's no Zaha replacement. He cannot and will not be replaced.
That is true. Yeah.
I agree. You cannot replace Zaha. But then again, we're talking about player-wise and maybe, bringing in someone else. Still, then, I don't think Diaz would be my Zaha replacement. We have to do better than that. But look, let's move on to the next bit of news. And that's coming from... It's not coming from anywhere. It's coming from the FA. And that is Everton Football Club and Crystal Palace FC have been charged with a breach of FA Rule E20 following their game on Saturday, 22nd of October in the Premier League. It is alleged that both clubs failed to ensure their players conducted themselves in an orderly fashion during the 68th minute. And they have until Tuesday, the 1st of November, to provide the respective responses. Now, first of all, Patrick, it's looking like another L. And my second point is the FA are soft. They are soft. If you be charged for that, what even happened in 68th minute? Zaha went for a header. They thought he elbowed him.
Right.
It wasn't that deep.
Handbag.
It was even that deep.
Nope.
For you.
That's the thing, man. Last season, the Everton match was much worse, and they barely did anything to Everton. Yeah, they got fined, blah, blah, blah. And now again, so you see why I don't like Everton Football Club? D, could you see why I don't like it? Everything comes at that team when we play them is just negative stuff. Listen, man. I can't. Seriously, it's ridiculous. Listen, it's a charge. We'll deal with it. Blah blah blah. Pay the fine and move on, man. The FA is a joke, man. Please, bigger things to worry about than some little push and guys arguing in his face. Nobody threw a punch. Nobody came on the pitch. Get lost, man. It's just a waste of time.
It's like a normal. It's like just a normal argument. Whatever, we got a bit heated, but it happens. This is football. Like, come on, man. They're so soft. It's unreal.
That
like,
game
crazy.
has to be.
But I was gonna ask you this question, Patrick. So since Lampard and Vieira's come in, do you think Everton versus Palace has become like a not big fixture for the neutrals, but for both clubs? Because it's happened every time we face them. There's always something going on now.
It's the last two matches. You know the funny thing, I mentioned that during the preview show. I talked about how we beat them in the league pretty comfortably. Gallagher goal, wrapped it up, beat them in FA Cup, and you talk about how we had a lucky goal, a deflected goal, etc. And ever since then, now they've been a real pain. It has got a little spicy, hasn't it? It really has. Like, it's becoming a bit of more of a rivalry than I would have expected. But again, all because we could get the job done last year and send them down where they belong in the Championship. Now I'm going to do with these guys for another season. So
that comment itself just shows how much Everton and Palace mean for you.
Exactly.
The fact that you wanted them relegated last season.
So salty, man.
I think so as well. I didn't think about it like that, but Lampard, Vieira, two big players.
They battled the Premier League, yeah.
And you saw it. Like, they got the better out of us in this game. We've got the best out of them in the previous games at home. So it looks like a fixture that's going to be heated for years to come if both managers are still there. And I'm up for it, man. There's comments like this. I've seen comments like this all week, by the way. That some people are actually saying that Everton losing against Everton hurts more than losing against Brighton. I'm not too sure about that, but
no, it's getting there for me though. It's getting there. It's starting to get there for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Sonny says, I cannot stand Everton. They got lucky last season. They act as if they're a huge club, but they won as much as us. I'd love them to go down more than anyone else. And that comment there just sums up Everton versus Palace. I wonder how Everton fans feel about us. I wonder if it's pretty much the same, but maybe because we just lost in a 3-0, emotions are a bit hot, and maybe if we beat them, we wouldn't be saying this. So Matt says FA more eager to fine us for handbags than the fans for intimidating our players.
Great point, Matt. Exactly, great point. Very good point.
What did they even get for that? I remember something came out not too long ago, but
they did get fined, but it wasn't anything massive. They should have gone should have gone a
stadium. Like 100K or something like that. Yeah, that should be in the stadium ban. Exactly, you'd think so. If that ain't a stadium ban, what is a stadium ban?
Right, play behind closed doors. Yeah, exactly. It was like some money. Like, not like Everton had money to pay for the fine. So it was a joke, man. Listen, man. Again, Everton's starting to annoy me. It really that fixture's starting to annoy me. The Balassi Derby, someone called it. I love Yannick.
Yannick Balassi Derby. I think Yannick loves us more than Everton. I'll be real. But look, let's answer some questions. If you've got any questions, send them through, and then we'll wrap up the show. We talked about Olise and the FA moving crazy over us. I don't know what's happened, but they wanted to charge us for nothing, and Everton as well. Pointless from the FA. They've got better things to do. Well, they should be. Let's go with some of the questions sent on earlier down the line. We've kind of answered this already, Patrick. Who would we replace Olise with?
I think, or Raksaki. Immediately, we already have right side cover on that side, so I think those are the two that would come in and do it. So
I think for me, it has to be someone from the club. I think we got two players there. It might not work though. It might not work because first of all, we're talking about Raksaki and Ibue, whereas they haven't played consistent in the Premier League. It's a territory that we haven't entered, but I'm willing to try it anyways for like 6 months or so and then see where it goes. And if it doesn't work, then we'll bring in a player.
But I think that in order for us, like I'm gonna keep saying over and over again, in order for us to really start bragging about this academy and how good it is, and a broad academy player with Raksaki is, we have to give the kids a chance. So for me, you got to give Raksaki a chance. You have to, and that way that builds the confidence of the kids in the 21s and the 18s. Say, you know what? Now I can actually see another player in the first team. To keep talking about Wan-Bissaka and Mitchell, it's been a while. We've got to get some more players from the academy into the first team.
But I'm not saying that. I'm saying like give them a try for 6 months or so. And then we'll see. Like we'll see where they're at, because right now I'll try with what we got at the club. But if it doesn't work, if you still have 30 to 50 million,
right, you go and get a more established player.
But it'll be good. Imagine if Ibue steps up or Raksaki steps up, then we got 30, 50 million to invest in other areas of the squad. Then it looks good. But that's if Olise leaves. We're not saying he's going to leave. Well, I don't think he's going to leave anyways anytime soon. It doesn't make any sense. And I don't think they should buy AC Milan right now anyways. I don't think he's ready.
Before you go ahead, so everyone in the chat. So Dee and I were having a conversation before this show started about where you'd rank, and this is not negative. This is a serious question. Where would you rank Oscar Edouard among strikers in the Premier League?
Why do we have to talk about this now? There's other questions as well.
Put your comments in the chat, please. Where would you seriously rank Edouard as far as strikers in the Premier League? And what would you value him at?
According to Patrick, is that 20th? So
we're gonna get that. I didn't say 20th. I said like 15th. You're lying. So you're lying. I said 15th. But let's see that your comments in the chat, please. Thank you. Go ahead. Sorry, don't want to.
Yeah, send them through. Where do you think Edouard ranks in terms of strikers in the Premier League?
And what was his value? How much would you sell him for? If you could sell him for?
Yeah, if it's less than 60 million, then I don't know for you. Anyways, Eagle Eye Football.
That's our conversation right there.
You thought I wouldn't say this. Eagle Eye Football said, how many players would you actually keep? With this in mind, is PV over or underachieving? So, Patrick Vieira, is he over or underachieving? For me, it's so hard.
I say over slightly. I say overachieving just slightly.
I think last season, he wasn't over or under. He achieved what he should have done with the squad that we got. This season, I don't think he's underachieving. That's because the midfield and the right back, it does mean a lot. Like, for me, I think it's such a big weakness. I keep saying, I don't want to say this, but if you're talking about Jeffrey Schlupp, for example, starting in midfield, or Jordan Ayew. Now, look at the other Premier League sides. Like, we have that midfield role, that number 8 is really bad. At right back, I think we've got the... No, I'm not going to say it. But I think we've got one of the worst right backs in the Premier League. But if you want me to be honest, I think we've got the worst right back in the Premier League. I don't know who's worse than Joe Ward, especially even if you include Nottingham Forest, etc. So for that reason alone, 2 starters plus the depth ain't really there. I think he's overachieving more than underachieving this season because we just haven't got a decent enough midfield and a right back. And I think the midfield is the most important area of the pitch. What about you, Patrick?
I looked at the squad real quickly. I'd probably keep about 14 of our current squad. I think 14 is a reach. I'd get rid of maybe 8-9 players for next season. So for me, since I cannot judge. I think it's not fair to judge Vieira until he has the players that he wants, or quote unquote the squad that he wants. Right now, we all know that this is not his squad. We're still short positions: right back, midfield, maybe even at striker. I don't even know. He did buy Edouard, and he did buy Arteta, so. But I'm not sure if those were the players he want specifically to play his system. But let's get past that. If Edouard can do the job, great. But I think we're definitely light. And then when you talk about those positions, we're also light in backups. There's no backup for Zaha. There's no backup for Decore.
We have improved in depth, though. This year, well, we can say that in the summer. People talk about
but we're not where you want to be.
We have improved in depth because Chris Richards, he's out injured.
Right.
Like, I guess we can still improve. I get that. But we've done 1 or 2 business in the summer that improved. Sam Johnson as well. That's the addition, which we haven't seen, but you would think he's better than Jack Butland. He's done relatively well so far in his career. So yeah, I think we're overachieving more than underachieving because, as Patrick said, we haven't got the players yet.
So so looking at the squad now, just looking at it very quickly, we don't have an adult backup for Zaha. We don't have an adult backup for Decore. We don't have a midfielder to go with Decore and Eza. So that's 4 positions. We don't have we don't have a right back or a backup for right back. We don't have a backup for left back. That's like 6 players that we're short already. So definitely better, but it's still got a long way to go.
Yeah. So what do you think this Palace squad should achieve, though? Because he has still got quality players there, but I don't think he's got the final squad. It should be better than fighting relegation. So what do you think? It's just mid-table side?
I told you. I said it's 12, 13, and win the League Cup.
So you think we've got a good enough squad to win the League Cup, but only finish 12th and 13th?
Not with this midfield that we have, not in the midfield, not the right back position the way it is now. No, absolutely not. Unfortunately,
we have to remember that could change. That could change after the next 4 or 5 games. It's going to be the January window.
Right.
Like, we're not that far off in terms of games wise. I guess in terms of months, because of the World Cup starting in November, which I was just thinking about today, and I'm just thinking about like games are going to be on at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. It's going to be annoying, but because the World Cup is starting in November, we're going to wait like 5 games off.
Is that right? What time? You sure about that?
Yeah, like 10 a.m. UK time, but the clocks are going to go back, so it's going to be.
You know what time that is? You know what time that is for me? That's
like 5 a.m.
4 a.m. in the morning. So you thought today was bad for the cricket for me? Can come November.
You're gonna stay up 5 a.m. to watch.
No, I'll wake up. I'll wake up early. I'll go to bed early and wake. I'm not gonna start. That doesn't work for me. I need my.
There's gonna be games. There's gonna be like 4 games a day, so it's gonna be crazy. But yeah, for me, I think we're overachieving. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section. Let's go through some of the comments. Ahmed says overachieving. Sonny says talent wise, top 8 to 12.
This is about
in my
Edward,
opinion.
right?
But he's got to score more consistently. Oh, this is about Edward. We'll go back to Edward in just a second.
Right.
Let's see. Overachieving, underachieving. Every team needs more depth in the 5 subs era. Very good point.
Very good point.
A few more questions there. So I'll be moving on. But yeah. Once PV has his team, we're going to overachieve and make it into Euro.
There you go. That's
if he has his team, then would you say we're overachieving? Because then he has his team. I don't know if it'll work like that, but I'll make it to Euro. Yeah. Exactly, I'll make it. I'll take that, man. I'll take that any day of the week. Chloe says apparently Newcastle wants Zaha in January. If you asked me a year or two ago, I would say why would he move to Newcastle? But Patrick, with what they got going on right now, do you think that would be a bad move for Wilf?
Yeah, because they sent Maximin. I don't see Maximin playing there, and it doesn't. That's his position. And
Zaha's better than Saint Maximin.
He is, but How knows that Maximin more than him? Why would he just bring in? I don't think I make it. I don't think he would go to. Forest.
I think it makes sense.
You got to go somewhere.
Saint Maximin doesn't have quality. Saint Maximin doesn't have. He doesn't have end product. So if you're talking about play with end product and pushing for top 4, top 6,
right?
The Newcastle do what we would like to do with Zaha. So if they were to buy him, I think it makes total sense. He's not a massive name. Like he's a big name, of course, but it's not like the name as whatever they're talking about. But I feel like he could move them on to next level. I think it does make sense. But I don't know. I don't think we sell Wilf in January. Let's just say that.
We're not going to. And for me, Wilf's got to go somewhere he's guaranteed to play. Look, as you just said, he's better than St. Maximin. But that's your opinion. That's fine. And he may or may not be. But St. Maximin, you may not guaranteed start. At his age, he's got to go somewhere he's going to be guaranteed to play every single match. I mean, it's not fair to say you're guaranteed. You gotta earn your spot. I get all that, but he's not gonna go to. You can't go to Newcastle and not be guaranteed a spot.
Nah, Patrick, come on. If you're talking about traditional top 6 clubs, cool, fair enough. But Newcastle, I think it makes total sense. If you move away your Palace bias and whatever you might feel like towards Newcastle, I think it makes total sense for Zaha to move to Newcastle. I do.
What? Why?
Because look at the squad they've got right now. They haven't got big. They've got players that's performing relatively well. Zaha can fit into that side. He is better than Saint Maximin. That's an improvement there.
He's not guaranteed. You keep saying that. He's got better end product, but he's not guaranteed to play over him. So why would you go there?
Hold up. Where would he be guaranteed to play? You telling me he'll be guaranteed at Dortmund? Guaranteed at Milan? No, but if he wants to move to a better club, then there isn't no guarantees. Who is guaranteed at a big club? But if you're talking about sensible move, cool. Chelsea might improve. Whatever. Man United. Newcastle makes sense right now. Newcastle makes more sense than anyone. It's an improvement from Palace. And he would be guaranteed to play.
No,
over Saint Maximin. Okay, if you ain't Newcastle, then it's no one. Then, so if based on, I feel like you're being biased.
I'm picking a team and a player who, I hate to say it, he's very, very similar to Wilf. Very, except he's younger. He's playing style very different.
Zaha's better, man.
I didn't say he was better. I said he's very similar. It's not like you just picked out a team and a club that has a player in the mold of Will Zaha, who's younger than Wilf. Skill level wise, your empire's not there, but it's getting much better. No, that's like the worst thing for me. That's the worst because of the position he plays.
Okay, for you, where should he move?
I haven't honestly. I haven't put a lot. I don't look at other teams' squads and look at them.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Of course, but that's what I'm saying. Like you wanted to set up Palace.
I know that
I do.
But for me, Newcastle doesn't make sense. Whereas if you gave me another team, I would say I look at their squad and say, okay. That does again. Maximin plays on the left side, the right foot plays on the same thing. He played on the Vieira because Vieira's going to coach him in the same way that he's coaching Wilf now. Vieira knew Saint Maximin when he's ahead of him at Nice. I just don't see it. To me, if they didn't have him, I would say
too much. You're talking about a guy that has no end product, man.
He's played well this season.
Even Newcastle fans that say that.
He's played well this season. He really has.
Okay, cool. He has, but his it doesn't still add up to all the hype that he gets. Come on, man. Zaha's clear of Saint Maximin, man.
No one hypes up.
People overhype. Yes, they do.
I don't
yes,
think
they
so.
do. Yes, they do. Oh, how many goals has he got, Saint Maximin?
I'm looking it up now.
How many got?
I'm looking up now.
He doesn't make sense for all the hype, man. He doesn't. He's been great for them. He's that flair player. But if you put Wilf into that Newcastle side, he's clear improvement to Saint Maximin. 100%, man.
Well, he's clearly injured. He's 4 years younger than Wilf. 5 games, 2 assists.
Okay, he's only scored 12 goals in 91 games. That pretty much sums up.
No,
Where's people talk about Saint Maximin?
This year he's been good. He's 4 years younger than Wilf, though. That's a big difference.
Zaha's been better. I still think Wilf goes there.
He has been better. And if I'm telling you right now, if he played on the other side, I'd say, wow, what a combination that would be. Zaha and Saint Maximin. They play in the same position, left-sided. They're both inverted wingers in that system. To me, it wouldn't make much sense. You know what? Let's move on. Let's agree to disagree. Yeah, let's move
on. Tim says, I hope we win the Jason Punch and Derby, Crystal Palace versus Southampton. Later on, we're going to be recording the preview. It will be posted tomorrow. So if you're new to the channel, subscribe. And make sure to check that out. We were talking about that Southampton game. Yeah, it's going to be a funny game because they just got a point against Arsenal as well. And I don't think it's going to be easy at all. And if we don't beat them, spoiler alert, it's not going to look nice.
He's going to have a meltdown.
No, man, I've lost expectation for these players after the Everton game. They have to win it back for me. When they win it back, cool. But right now, I'm not optimistic against Southampton. But anyways, we'll be talking about that in the match preview. Vieira could make Edouard a beast if he gets the ball into him more often. His 2 goals in the Premier League have been one-touch finishes. Get the ball into him and he scores. He's got goals this season and assists. I think this season Edouard has been relatively good. And I feel like he will get more goals and assists if we do play to strengths. As you said, put him in front of goal and he does finish it for me. But yeah, that's with Edouard. There were a few comments about that. So let's go for that. Edouard is low on the list, says Jude, in terms of Premier League strikers. And I rate Edouard. AJ says I rate Edouard as much as I rate Gerrard. SPL hype, ain't it? I think Gerrard, SPL hype, cool, but Edouard, come on, man.
LJ.
I expected better from AJ. I expect better. I'm just saying, keep this energy after the Southampton game. That's what I'm saying. Keep this energy after the Southampton game with Edouard, because he's been one of our better players this season.
No doubt, I agree with that 100%.
But yeah, Tom says we need to toughen up in midfield. Lightweight flair plays are leaving us vulnerable. Why didn't Vieira keep Kouyaté? A partnership with Decore would have been pivotal in midfield defense. I think in hindsight, it's great to say that, especially after his performance against Liverpool. But I think it was a sensible move to move away from Kouyaté. His age doesn't make sense. How many years contract did he sign at Nottingham Forest?
2 years.
A few years?
Yeah,
2
years.
So he's 32 years old. He's under contract till 34. Aging player. No, I'm happy that we moved on from Kouyaté. Done good against Liverpool, though. But for me, we had to move on. We should have replaced him and brought in another midfielder. Well, we did replace him with Decore. We're missing number 8. We're not missing Kouyaté. We're missing number 8. Even though
you know who
play like that against Liverpool.
That player doesn't should not be named. Conor Gallagher.
We've improved on Kouyaté, so I have no worries about or questions about why did we let him go. For me, anyways. Dan says, how many players do you think we could realistically get, and do we need?
3.
So in terms of, let's start off with need. How many players do you think we need in January? I'm assuming Dan is asking us about a January window. I think we need 2 players. I think we need a new right back and a new number 8. What about you, Patrick?
I think we need a left back backup also. Not an expensive one, but proven championship level at least left back that can, if Richie goes down, can go in and we can say, okay, he's not great, but he's okay. Right now, Teo's too young and Giles on left back. I would say,
but I don't buy into this too young. He's too young to play. If he's good enough, then he should be able to play. Like, what is it? He's too young. We haven't seen him play consistently.
How old is Teo? Do you know how old he is?
How old is he?
He's 18.
Okay,
it's a big reach. I'm with you. I like to see him play. I just don't think.
I don't think we need a left back. When you talk about needs, Teo's there. We're talking about too young. He's a left back. We got a left back there. That we do you believe in him?
In Tyreek Mitchell or Teo?
No, in Teo.
In a year or so, I do. I don't think he's ready now. But let me tell you something, man. The fullbacks are pivotal to how we play, and they're both not performing at the level we need them to perform, and that's making us look bad all over the pitch. As far as attacking wise, it's hurting us. I mean, we can both go back and name goals the last 3 matches where we can blame either Mitchell or Ward for the goals. So that's, again, I'm with you. Probably only 2 players, right back and center, but I really want a left back backup. I think we need it, and maybe that pushes Mitchell, or maybe Mitchell's become lackadaisical. Maybe that's why he's not playing as well. I don't know, but Mitchell needs to step up.
I have to disagree. I don't think we need a left back. I think what we need is maybe Patrick Vieira to say to Tyreek Mitchell, I'm sorry, you're going to be dropped next game and Teo's going to start. I think we need that more than anything because we haven't seen Teo as enough. But we have technically got a left back there. We haven't got, we've got Nathaniel Klein there, but I still feel like he ain't good enough. For me, right back is essential, as you said, and a number 8. I think we need that. How many do you think we get? How many do you think we get?
The 2, the right back and the midfielders. But D, going back to what you said about Mitchell or Tayo, you put Tayo in, he gets ripped a new one. His confidence is shot. What do you do then?
Well, go back to Mitchell. The harsh game of football. Wan-Bissaka came in, done his
I
thing.
get that.
Other
it's football manager,
right, Saki looked decent when he came in. Yeah, he ain't football manager.
So that's the thing, man. You gotta be careful.
Yeah,
gotta be careful.
But Patrick, you're a professional footballer. I get it. He's only 18. When Wan-Bissaka came in, he wasn't like a well-known professional. That's the harsh realities of being
He was older.
But that's the harsh realities of being a Premier League fullback. I'm not saying after one game bench Teo Ademirola. I'm not saying that, but let's say he does have a few bad games. That's cool. But if he has a bad 6 months, then fair enough. But I still use him there. He's a left back. What is this? Oh, keeping him. If he ain't ready, then
I just think I'm worried about the confidence level of a 18-year-old kid who plays and doesn't do well. And then you got to go back to the player you said, you know what? I'm gonna give you a rest, but no, I need you. I just think it's very tricky. Is my only point. I'd love to see Teo make it. Listen, I'm a big advocate of the academy. I always talk about wanting to play, but again, I'm just worried about you put him in and doesn't do well. Our fan base turns on him too. Our fan base is very quick to turn on players who, unfortunately, so that can happen. I mean, I cannot say that he's ready because I haven't seen enough of him.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think we need it. I still don't think we need it.
But at 18, you can't just throw an 18-year-old into the
Okay, cool, Patrick. All right, cool. So let's bring in a new left back. But that's what you want, right? So you got Mitchell, you got Teo, you got another left back. So you just hinder Teo's development because what's going to happen is Mitchell and the other left back's going to be the 2 options. So what's going to happen with Teo?
He's 18. You sent him out on loan for a year. He's only 18.
Okay, cool. But realistically, if we get a new left back, it's not. Come on, I don't think we'll sign one for 1 year or 6 months.
And then, so you can't. So Mitchell in a year or so, if he does really well, and then reap the benefits of that. We've done that in the past. We did that with Wan-Bissaka.
I just think we've got a left back there. I don't think we need to bring in another option and put Teo as a number 3 option.
He's
not 16.
It's really good, but that's like the best case scenario. We bring in a left back. He does well. Mitchell does well, and Teo is stuck behind him. That's never going to happen. It's not going to happen when all 3 are doing well. One of them is going to mess up. One of them is going to have to leave. So I don't think that's the problem you love to have, D. Imagine having 3 really good players in one position at Crystal Palace Football Club. Imagine that. We don't have it now. We don't have 3 players at any position now. Maybe goalkeeper, maybe. We don't sold on Butland. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, we do. Right wing. Yeah, we do. Elise,
Eboué is not proven. Stop it. He's not proven yet.
Jordan Ayew, I think he's.
And then half the fan base cannot stand Jordan Ayew. I have no problem with that. Jordan Ayew is the next, the next greatest player in the world. Let's stop that. But I'll give you Ayew and Olise are very competent in that position. Let's not go crazy. I mean, I know you like Jordan, but let's not go crazy.
Yeah. Well, he's an option. I'm just saying. You talked about options. He's an option there. As much as people dislike him or don't like him, but look, Gyro, Richards, they're backup left backs as well. I don't think we need a left back. We do need a right back in the centre mid. But how many? Let's move on to the second part of the question. How many do you think we get?
Right.
How many do you think we get? Do you have confidence?
2.
We
have to get a midfielder. You have to get a midfielder, and you have to get a right back. You have to. You can't sit back and let this continue. So you have to back, and you have to. Unless, of course, by another big miracle that somehow Nathan Ferguson recovers his gets away injuries and he can play, or
he's training,
or Chris Richards,
got a World Cup break,
or Chris Richards who can't play right back, and he did it at Leverkusen. Yeah, I believe it's by unless he can play right back. I mean, that's another option. That's why I'm thinking maybe right back isn't an option. Maybe I think they're waiting to see if Richards or Ferguson can get fit, because then right back, honestly, you thought left back was gonna be starting. Imagine having Ward, Klein, Ferguson and Richards all fit at right back, and then you bring another player and you got 5 right backs.
No, that's good. Wood.
You just said You said
no,
3 on the left.
No, you didn't let me land. Okay? I'm flying right now. Let me land. I'm saying that's good because what's going to happen is I don't think Ward and Klein are at the level
I get that part.
For where we want to push on to. So they leave in the summer. Simple as.
But if you're the manager, though,
I'm bringing quality.
Right. If you're the manager, though, and again, big if, Ward, Klein, Richards, Ferguson are all fit come January, you're not buying a right back. Hold up. You know.
So let's say Ferguson does come back December the 26th, Boxing Day. Do you not still buy a new right back? Do you still have faith? Because that's a risky move. Because let's say Ferguson gets injured after a few weeks or after a month or so.
We're left
in the same position. Do you have the confidence right now in Ferguson to come back and be that right back?
I quote my good friend Sam Hesketh. I buy the midfielder beginning of the window and I wait to the end of the window for the right back. That's what I wait and see if he stays healthy. How about that? Give him 2 months, a month and a half, whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think that's fair. Well, he's training right now and he's got a World Cup break, so he should have games. Exactly. He should have some. There'll be games behind closed doors. I'm pretty sure.
Definitely.
During the World Cup break. So if he does stay fit, then cool. But then again, I don't know what I expect from a player that hasn't played football for like nearly 3 years.
And I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying any of that's going to happen. A lot of big, massive ifs in my statement about that. So yeah.
I think Sonny's saying Klein has not let us down since he's joined the club.
He really hasn't.
I agree. No, I agree. But this is the one thing that I have to make sure. Well, this is how I feel. One thing I have to make sure I say is that cool. He has played good, but we still need a better right back if we want to do better than that. For example, 100%. Olise can take us to that level that we want to be. He's that caliber of player. Edward, you can make that argument. I personally believe in him. I do. You might call me crazy, but I believe he can take us there. Zaha can. Mark Gay can. Tarek Mitchell on his day, he can. Joachim Andersen can. But Nathaniel Klein and Joe Ward cannot take us there. As regardless, even though they have good periods, we can do better. That's how I see it. But yeah, I don't disagree that he hasn't been good since his comeback.
I have an idea. How about if you're not sure that Richards and Ferguson, one just loan a right back, loan Wan-Bissaka, and then if he doesn't work out, send him back to United. How about that? We could do that.
Yeah.
So why spend the money, just loan him?
Let's see what happens during.
We have no loans. We have no loans, D, right now. So
but I don't know. Let's see. Maybe Fergie could be back. It could be a miracle.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he plays, but damn, miracles. Do they happen at Palace?
Oh man,
not really.
AJ.
Oh, they do. It's been AJ's giving up on Ferguson already. Well, look, Patrick, let's wrap this up now. We've done enough Palace chat today. Of course, Olise. Let's see what happens with that. AC Milan links. We'll see. And of course, Everton and Palace have been charged following that game due to
handbags.
What did I say? Ordinary. We didn't conduct ourselves in an orderly fashion, according to them, in the 68th minute. So let's see what happens there. But we will be back tomorrow with an opposition preview and a match preview. Yes, we're looking ahead to the Southampton game. Massive game after that 3-0 defeat against Everton. If you're new here, leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, up the Palace.